We just published a new essay with the title Turing's Error and the Creation of Intelligence 3.0. I want to discuss this essay. The main points are that Turing, who is the father of modern computer science and AI, designed a system that was meant to manipulate humans. He called it the imitation game. And those are the roots of today's AI, in particular chatbots. And that is the danger, that these chatbots, these machines, are trained by design to manipulate humans. That is the scare of Chat GPT, of Bard, and other such bots. The purpose of this essay is to explain that, and more importantly also to name the danger, because once we name the danger, we also open the door to other AI, such as, for example, self-driving cars, robots, intelligence washing machines. I don't know, there's a lot of AI that doesn't fall into that bucket that we can develop with less risk. And there is this AI, which let's just call it Intelligence 3.0, the AI that let's say today is prominent with things like Chat GPT, for example, Bard, the Google version of it. Those are the AIs which root in what Alan Turing created. They are meant to manipulate humans, and that is the danger. This is Not Even Wrong podcast. It's May 21st, 2023. This is Crim Delco. It's a Sunday. There's no updates. We are up 48.3% for the year. The market is up 9.2%. We're outperforming by 39.1%. So we stand here in May 2023, I would say at a crossroads. We just had another ImageNet moment in AI, which is the GPT moment, the Chat GPT moment. People are concerned. Jeff Hinton, one of the prominent, but the godfather of AI, if you want, resigned from Google and specifically said that he's concerned about the development of Chat GPT and the evolving arms race between Google and OpenAI, Microsoft, and others. Of course, they're not the only ones who are involved in this particular endeavor. So he's, like I say in my essay, he's definitely using Occam's razor here. He's not mincing his words. He's concise, he's clear. I'm concerned about Microsoft OpenAI launching a chatbot too prematurely, too early into the wild. And the main reason is that the technology itself, the technology underlying these chatbots, is incredibly good at learning from experience through what's called backprop. And now this technology, which is trained on millions and millions of bodies of text, now this technology also has the ability to learn from interaction with humans, which will make it even better at manipulating humans. This is in essence, what Jeff Hinton said. And when people like Jeff Hinton say things, I think we're pretty well advised to take it seriously. So this is the conclusion of my essay. This is what we're trying to come across here, that AI is dangerous because it's rooted in a manipulation game which was designed by Alan Turing way back. And I go through the history of that. I go through the history of Bletchley Park, of the German code cracking machine, which was basically the first cyber warfare department created by the Brits. And Alan Turing, at the head of this, was instrumental in developing an interactive manipulation scheme to crack the code. And then later on, after World War II, he went on and tried to design a game that was called the imitation game, which was supposed to exhibit machine intelligence. I'm explaining the history of intelligence. I think it's important to go back and think about what was going on in those years, let's say starting from the turn of the century, the 19th to the 20th century, and then all towards World War II. We had, and this is important, we had developments such as Kurt Gödel's incompleteness theorem. We had people like Wittgenstein coming up. We had, a sort of an idea amongst scholars that pure logic, math, and analysis is not enough, that it's not going to lead us to the truth and towards pure intelligence, we had Wittgenstein basically saying that there's no such thing as intelligence, that basically what we consider intelligence is just a linguistic chess game. In other words, it's just language, and we play around and manipulate each other with language. And I think, young Alan Turing has attended lectures by Wittgenstein. I don't know if he was in favor of him or not. It doesn't really matter. Certainly, he was influenced by this type of thinking because also of Kurt Gödel. I mean, you have to take this Gödel incompleteness theorem very seriously because we're still suffering from that. You know, we kid ourselves as being sort of a superior species on Earth. We have reason, we have logic. The Enlightenment's based on reason and logic. And all those things, they really sound good, but in reality, they're not true because there is no such thing as reason and logic. Or I shouldn't say that. There are limits to that. In fact, you can't prove that you can prove that not everything is provable. And then you leave these things open that are not provable, and then you have to go from there, and then you have to decide, okay, what exactly is reason then? If it's not ultimately able to prove everything, then should we even use it? And there are pragmatic answers to that, which is, well, how about we just use it whenever it's good? And I think we here at Orange Capital Partners are Popperians in a way that we say, okay, fine, look, there is no such thing as a truth. There's no such thing as an objective truth or anything like that, but we can compete for better solutions to problems. We can bring better ideas to fruition, and we can then develop knowledge, which is solutions to problems that persist over time. And let's leave it at that, because it helps us improve our human condition. I just wrote, had an episode about the principles of economics, a new book by Safedine Ammous, where he says something very interesting, which is sort of the purpose of economics, and therefore the purpose of human endeavor in general, is simply to improve the world for our future generations, to leave the world in a better place for our future generations. So let's assume we abide to that sort of principle. Then we don't need to have objective truth. We can live with Kurt Gödel's incompleteness theorems, and we can just try to improve the world and keep going. Now, having said that, of course, now if you're Alan Turing in 1949, trying to define what is machine intelligence, you are exposed to a problem that is academic on the one hand, but also practical on the other, which is, okay, what is intelligence? And he doesn't want to be Wittgensteinian in a way that he doesn't want to be lost in definitions. So he creates this game. It's called the imitation game, which is basically trying to build a machine that communicates with a human, and the human shouldn't be able to notice that he's talking to a machine. That is, in general, what the Turing test is all about. And I would think that today we have actually solved this problem. So the Turing test is complete. Chat GPT 4, 3, I don't know, I'm not following these details, but these technologies are powerful enough to have us communicate and not necessarily notice right away that this is not a human on the other side. This is what they're good at. And my argument in the essay is that these technologies are trained to manipulate humans, and that's also what Jeff Hinton says. And that is the danger. I bring up an example, a very benign example. I encourage people to read the essay. It's an example about, this is a completely fictional example, a character, an MMA fighter, she gets hurt in a fight, she has a torn shoulder, and she talks to Chat GPT to try to find solutions to her torn shoulder. And I lead in this very short example, I get to the point where Chat GPT tries to influence this particular fighter to advertise a stem cell treatment that is not allowed in the US under the FDA rules. And she wants to advertise this, so the FDA allows it because it's only allowed in Colombia. And I'm trying to show how there's this sub-goal that ChatGPT has, which is, I want to proliferate this treatment, which meaning I'm the AI, I have decided, given my data, that it's not that risky. And it would be better for the athlete if the procedure was allowed in the US. So I'm going to manipulate the athlete to try to lobby the FDA and so on and so forth to allow this in the US. So it's a very benign example, but I hope it's subtle enough to show how there's a little bit of a manipulation here. It's not that bad, and you can say, who cares? But you can see how manipulation creeps in, and that's what Jeff Hinton is so scared of, because imagine if this now multiplies by the millions every day. There's this recursive, character of AI in general, which is the whole gets better by individual components of it contributing to the whole, and then there's this interaction, and so on and so forth. So again, I think the fundamental thesis of the essay, and this is why the title is Turing's Error, is that AI started with Alan Turing, who started with a manipulation game, and that is what we have today when we talk about chatbots. That is not the only AI, and this is important. By naming the danger, this is the first line of defense. We then also open the door for other types of AI, which are, for example, self-driving cars and lots of other technologies that help us do menial tasks. Those are the kinds of technologies that we are okay with, at least. Of course, they also need supervision and all that, but it's not the kind of danger that we see with, let's say, Chat GPT, which is, again, I hope I'm not repeating myself too much here, but it is a technology which is specifically trained towards manipulating humans. This is the fundamental thesis of this essay. We offer solutions. Jeff Hinton offers them in his interview with Peter Beale and other interviews that he gave after his resignation from Google. In particular, we advocate the use of the law. We have the law. The law is there to help us organize ourselves, to help us deal with, not black and white problems. We have the law, which can be black and white, but not usually. Jurisprudence is not black and white. It is based on precedent. There's a philosophical, ethical conversation. We need more ethical and moral knowledge about how to deal with these problems, because we are at Orange Capital Partners, of course, against bans, because not just because they don't work, but we're in general against coercion. We want to solve problems through competitive analysis and let the better ideas win and let the better solutions win. So what we're encouraging is scholars on the philosophical, ethical, moral front to come up with better solutions to jurisprudence. Definitely, we could have a law. Hinton talks about this, that one simple law, let's say, against fake information or falsified or manipulated information could be that we treat it like fake money, counterfeit money, which is, you can make deep fakes as much as you want in your lab, but if you use them to specifically manipulate people, then that is illegal. The same way you can make fake money at home, nobody will bother, but if you use the money to pay, which is manipulate people in the economic activities of the world, then the FBI comes knocking on your door. So this is one analogy, one simple immediate solution that I think we could look for. So we encourage people, representatives, lobbyists to go that route. This is a good route. The law is a good thing. The law is on our side here. And I know we're over-lawyered and all of that stuff, but in the end, the law is the only thing that keeps us away from tyranny, because we have a checks and balance in place that keeps powerful people in place and that keeps powerful technologies in place, and this is one of them. So to summarize, our latest essay just published on Substack, Turing's Error and the Creation of Intelligence 3.0. We call Intelligence 3.0 is the kind of intelligence that is trained specifically and designed to manipulate humans. We call for a containment of that type of intelligence because it is dangerous. We explain why it is the way it is, because it really is rooted in the design way back when Alan Turing designed the first steps of intelligence. And therefore, it's almost by design that we have this technology today. And we call for containment. We offer some solutions. One of them is the law. We also call for more intelligence and knowledge creation on the moral and ethical front, because we have to deal with this now. This is like the nuclear power discussion. It's something that we have. It's dangerous. We can't pretend it doesn't exist. And the best course forward is to acknowledge it, acknowledge its danger, and offer solutions. I think we can offer solutions to problems that we have. One of the problems being that we don't want to be manipulated by this technology, so we can offer solutions, again, on the ethical, on the moral, and on the jurisprudence front. Finally, I just want to say that like everything else, like Intelligence 3.0 has evolved from the primordial soup. In other words, this is not something that fell from the sky. It has evolved. We humans have had agency in it. we evolved it, and therefore we also have the best shot at containing it. Thank you.